All right, everyone. We're back. You probably, if I've edited this correctly, you just heard me sign off and say goodbye to everyone. But we realized, or I realized after we finished our amazing Godzilla episode, that we forgot to talk about probably one of the quintessential things that makes a Godzilla movie, and that's the music of Godzilla. I was telling Shareef before we signed on for this wraparound part of the episode that if the Matthew Broderick movie had had Godzilla's theme in it, I probably would have enjoyed that movie a lot more than I did. So,
Yeah.
um, what are you guys' thoughts about the music?
Um, Honestly, James, you're absolutely right. It is the theme song for Godzilla. Like when he shows up for the first time, the dun dun dun. It's thematic. It's grandiose, and you immediately know what it is. If you just heard it without watching the film, you know that it's Godzilla's music that he just showed up. It's iconic, like I hate to say it, but you know it like Star Wars. You know immediately that the Star Wars theme is on, so the movie's on. You know that's how iconic it is for me. Sharif, what do you think?
100%, I agree. It's Jaws, it's
Yeah.
Star Wars, all the John Williams hits, Indiana Jones,
Yeah,
Harry Potter. Now,
yeah.
like it's super iconic. Actually, the X-Men theme song is super
Oh yes,
iconic too.
yes,
Yeah,
of
it
course.
has become, yes.
Yeah, so I think I I remember this music very, very well. And there was a rapper called Pharoah Monch, and he came out with a song called Simon. And that music starts the track and is looped into the beat.
Right.
And when I heard that, I knew it immediately.
Yeah,
And I said,
exactly.
"Oh, and it didn't matter what he was rapping about. That beat is amazing. You throw
Yeah.
a bass line on that and loop it, goodness gracious, it's so amazing.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry, real fast, but you know what? You know what's also great is that it's used in, if I'm not mistaken, every single Godzilla film other than the Matthew Broderick film and from 1998.
And
Shame
the
on
first
them.
in the first Legendary movie, because Sharif and I were talking about it too. For some reason, it's mysteriously absent from
Yeah,
the.
right. But you know what? From the Showa series, Showa era, and the Heisei era, every single one of them, and that's the little bit of continuity that you love in these films that kept it all together. Just the theme music. It didn't matter that the Godzilla looked goofy every other during the 60s. He had this music that made him the monster. It was the monster music that you loved, accompanying the visuals. So I thought that was
right.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
no,
wasn't over
definitely.
the top either. It was
No.
like
No.
I mean, it was, I guess, very slightly campy, but not, but like actually grounded the movie. I think a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, to me, it was just an iconic theme, and it was not over the top at all. It was
Yeah,
spot on because it's a giant creature that destroys cities. So, like sometimes I think sometimes a superhero could have music that's a little too grandiose for his abilities. Like this
Right.
guy just is a street level fighter. Why does he have this crazy music? But Godzilla is I don't think you could go too big with Godzilla.
Yeah. Okay.
Like his should be like operatic.
It fits the size of the creature, I think.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I bought this on iTunes like a while ago, but I bought the Best of Godzilla 1984 to 95, which is the Heisei era
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
Every theme there is like great from that era. Like
Yeah.
even, well,
Absolutely.
of course, Mothra's song,
Mothra song.
iconic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yep.
King Ghidorah's song. I
Mhm.
Yep.
mean, and these are all the themes that were established in the Showa era too. They just like
I-
the
And then
Yeah.
if you watched them like when we were kids and in the 70s and 80s, and then all of a sudden you're watching these movies a little bit later in the 90s and you hear these themes, it immediately brings you back to watching those films on WPIX or Channel 11 in the late 70s or early 80s. Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, and there's, I mean, Godzilla has like, there's the main Godzilla theme, but then he also has like the I think there's like a separate theme too, which I can't remember. Like there's the
Yes.
main theme, and then there's another theme when he's
I don't know
marching
what
through the
it's
city.
called, but I was looking up the soundtrack as well. Just randomly looking up the soundtrack. And I was looking up the soundtrack and I heard this other song that I also know very well and remember hearing in all the Godzilla movies as well. And it's not that tough, like hardcore Godzilla's about to kill. It's kind of relaxed, but just slightly menacing sound.
Yeah.
So that one, that one's good too. And really all of the music, and I didn't realize how much of the music I knew.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm big in the scores, as Arco knows. I'm always like, hey Arco, I just picked up that score. And he's like,
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Exactly. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't remember that score.
You know, James, I believe that you in the past have also told me that you've picked up soundtracks and scores of films. So I love that the two of you actually have a commonality when it comes to films. You both love films, and the music reaches you both and brings you even deeper into the film than it does a person like me, because I may remember the Harry Potter film and the music that brings you once you that it comes on once you see Hogwarts for the first time, and every single time afterwards you always have that. But I don't hear the music in the back when he's fighting Voldemort, you know, and you guys do, and I know you do because you know you've told me about the theme to this song and that battle and everything. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you guys are listening to. I'm watching the film, but yeah, it's really cool that you guys get into that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean like I always love themes, but you know with certain as Shareef said, like John Williams and you know Alan Silvestri and you know other and Jerry Goldsmith, like you can hear they make great themes, but also the subtle music for the characters and and same thing with the Godzilla music. I listened to this whole album. This whole album's got like 29 tracks on it from the Heisei area, and I've listened to all of them.
That's good.
And all of them are good, and some of them I can't remember what scene they're from, but they're still good music.
Yeah,
so.
that's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Arco, I forgot to tell you. So what we went to go see Batman 1989 with the orchestra playing.
Oh, nice. See, that's
my
awesome.
goodness.
That's awesome.
And for me, it was like I was telling my wife, I was like, you don't understand how much this means to me because the music was correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm there waiting for them to mess up, right? And say, no, it had a little bit more oomph than that. I don't know what that clarinet is doing, but that's not how I remember it. So just to give you some idea of the power of music and how important it is, it was so great to hear it.
Well,
Danny Elfman.
Yeah,
we didn't mention my guy Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, lead singer from Oingo Boingo from back in the 80s. So I mean, has made a great career for himself as a composer. And I'm just going to say that you know we have heard many of his music. Much of his music through the years, even though a lot of it right now just escapes my mind. But I know that he worked on Batman, and I know we're talking about Godzilla, but now that you brought up Danny Elfman, he put down a lot of ideas that Prince was handing out to the producers, and he really fought hard, even though it was his first big gig. And he said, you know, I'm just, you know, this is what I believe the movie needs, and Prince was a little bit too far out there. I mean, if you ever saw that video for Bat Dance, I mean, so kudos to Danny Elfman for really a second career for him through the years. Amazing.
Oh yeah, and just to list some of Danny Elfman's music, he did the theme song for The Simpsons.
Okay.
He did the theme song for Batman the Animated Series. He did Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, pretty much every Tim Burton movie you can think of.
Yeah.
And of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas, which he does live in concert every year.
That's awesome.
In the
you know what? If you ever see Danny Elfman, like in the he was in the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes, he was. He
was in the band that he hired to for the big party. He looks like Tim Burton a little bit. So
that's funny.
Yeah, so that worked out very well for him. God bless him.
Well, this wraps up our Danny Elfman podcast. I'm sure if given the opportunity, Danny Elfman would score a Godzilla movie. He seems like a type of guy.
He would kill it too. He would kill it.
Last thing before we wrap up this episode, I guess officially. was the theme in Godzilla minus one.
Of
Yes,
course.
sir.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes,
And it was
was.
used to perfection.
And it really was.
It may have been used to the best that it's ever been used, actually. Because remember,
yeah.
Godzilla minus one, this is menacing,
Yeah.
dangerous,
Mhm.
villain Godzilla.
Right.
This is not fun dancing Godzilla.
No.
This is a menacing, this is the Godzilla that you hate.
Yeah.
And so the music was perfect because it was truly scary.
Yeah.
And I guess it was always scary, but I loved it so much over the years that I never associated it with being scared.
Mhm.
But in Godzilla minus one,
Yeah.
it was scary.
The theme has always been a menacing theme. Okay, so dun dun dun, and he shows up, and so it does the roar and everything. But now you have the visual that is truly terrifying, and really the one, it's Jaws, but for Godzilla. There's one scene where it's right out of Jaws, and when you first see Godzilla in the water, and you finally have a visual on screen to match the theme of the music that is putting out there, and I think it worked amazingly, like Shareef said.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
It's
you guys
really,
had me
really
up for
great.
it even more. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see it.
James, you will love it. I honestly, if you want to spend a couple of bucks to stream it, I'm only upset that I wasn't able to see it in black and white when they re-released it.
I know, me neither.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, there was like just audience to let you know, we're recording this a little bit after our original Godzilla episode, but I heard that they had to pull it early. Well, not pull it early. They had to pull it 8 weeks before King Kong versus Godzilla. That's they had a rule, so that's why it disappeared from theaters. So.
It made over $100 million, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about that, the whole budget of the thing was made for $15 million, and no Godzilla movie has ever made that much. A Toho film, anyway. It really is truly amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Can't wait.
So,
Can't wait. I hope they decide to stream it. Right now, they have no plans on streaming, which is kind of bizarre since it's nominated for an Academy Award.
So let's buy it. Physical media still alive.
No, there's no DVD release either yet. There's
gosh.
I don't know
my
why
goodness.
I don't know why Toho is doing it, or unless maybe it has something to do with King Kong versus Godzilla. But
it's probably they're getting caught up in legal battles because it's competing medium.
Yeah. So I'll wait.
I'll wait. Yeah. So. All right, audience. Well, thank you so much for coming back and joining us. And once again, Arco, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And Shareef, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And we will talk to you on the next episode. And at some point, we will have a part 2. Once minus one comes out, I can see it. And we will talk about Godzilla minus one.
Can't wait.
Absolutely.
Awesome.